my math. Yeah, you're really close.
It was really close. I knew it was a number.
I knew it was a number.
Oh, is it? We have to carry around.
We've got a few more of your attendees coming in.
All right, we'll wait a minute.
This
is a great Friday tournament.
Inspection class.
I did say that thing. I knew you were.
I sent an email to that guy. So when you, it's so weird.
Okay.
Have a great weekend. There's only so much I can do on my side. I don't contact him. Yeah, it's just a great creator.
Under education.
You're welcome.
All right, guys, let everybody get settled. As soon as Brian gets done over here, we'll get started. Does everybody know Brian? He's a great source of information who's in the market center all the time. Tell him what you do.
Oh, well, they heard me last week. I talked.
Did you?
Wednesday.
Awesome. Great source of information, especially when we're working with buyers. So we're doing find and show homes. And my name is Eric Ellingsworth. I am the lead buyer's agent for the Massengo Group in Nixa, which I wasn't until December of last year as an agent by myself. I had a really, I had a great year last year. Really beyond any expectations that I could ever imagine. Besides making more money and way more business than I could ever imagine. And people ask me, why would you join a team? Well, so I'm gonna address that because here's the way it works. I was doing this much business and working 4 months at a time before taking a day off, right? This year, I'm gonna do this much business. Not gonna make as much commission because it's not 100%, but I have 0 expenses and I'm not working weekends. I'm at home evenings, right? And so, and the other part of it, to be honest with you, is we all know with you, I'm honest, let me be honest with you, right?
You just went to Jersey.
Yes. Yeah, forget about it. Is the fact that there is a shift coming, right? We're in the process of it. It has begun. Those of us who have been in the business a little bit, we can see days on market creeping up. Buyers are harder right now, right? Before the buyers had a sense of urgency, now they think, oh, just wait, there's going to be some good deals out there and things like that. So we'll talk a little bit about that through this, but part of it for me was I thought, you know what? Sometimes being around really good people every day instead of being with yourself is a good place to kind of, to grow and secure your future through something like that. But I'm excited. I feel like we're going to do way more business than we've ever done this year and make more money because of the team atmosphere. It's really cool. And I say that in the fact because we need more people. So if you're interested, call down to the office and set up an appointment to talk to Jason because we need buyers agents and listing specialists bad. Yes?
Did Penny become a buyer specialist as well?
Yes, she did. And the way that it worked, and Penny and I were a team, and we still are a team within a team. And what was really funny is we got in there, and then she really stepped up, and she was a leader and doing stuff too. So we're actually both lead buyers agents. Yeah, we have no individuality anymore. Yesterday we were both driving down the road and we had talked for about 3 minutes and we both said, hey, look at that roof at the same time. Brian knows Penny and I well enough to know that we're not really, we're pretty much one individual now. Yeah.
Melded into
something else. And you're like, well, why isn't she here? She's the better, she doesn't like talking in front of people. So, this is the way it is. If you guys have any questions, yell them out. If you have any thoughts or things to add, please yell them out. I'm going to say something about Aaron that was here. They do a great job. I love the way the reports are laid out. I probably have used them at least 25 or 30 times last year. Just awesome. So if you guys do need somebody, and here's one of the trickiest things about getting into business, is finding vendors who you trust, who will take care of your customers as much as you value your customers. We've gone through a couple lenders finding the right ones for us, And we got into Cornerstone quickly, and we haven't deviated off that at all. They get there quickly. I'm no, you know, it's not day 14 before we're out doing something. It's usually right there, you know, 3, 4, 5 days after we're under contract, and we have plenty of time to do it. And one thing he did mention, I wanted to say something about was, you know, there's 2 types of agents who send you reports that have 30 things on them. Agents who have clients who are trying to get out of the deal, and agents who can't control their clients. So you know you don't have a very good agent on the other end of the deal if they send you like 35 or 40 things. And when you're doing your buyer's presentation, you set the expectation that you're gonna ask for things that are really a detriment to the house, that's gonna cost you a lot of money, not that you're just gonna blow them up. And the rest of it, I just say, the rest of it is a honey-do list. Every house, I mean, if you went to buy a car, you wouldn't be out there going, look at this ding near the rear bumper, we need that taken care of. You know, it's a used car, so. All right, find and show homes. Get through all this. Good jazz here. They used to do this every day when they got started in the old Ignite. All right, everybody call 40 people when we get started. All right, I'm gonna go to, let me make sure I got my notes in order here. Get your head in the game, the journey. Did you guys, oh, I forgot my glasses in the car. You guys should have some stats here. It shows me as page 11. Where it starts, it says, the journey, typical home buyer search for 10 weeks and view 10 homes. Is that, you guys find that page?
Yep.
Yeah, you got it, okay. That stat, here's something when you're working with buyers to keep in mind. Buyers will soak up your time, they will soak up your energy, and they will soak up your gasoline in your vehicle, right? It's good to set expectations. I've recently started doing this probably in the last 4 or 5 months, and it's been gold. I tell my clients that 90% of my clients look at 3 to 4 houses, maybe 5, before they make a buying decision. If we go out and look at 6 or 7 houses, then I didn't do a good job for you. I didn't set the expectations, and I didn't do a good enough buyer's needs analysis, and we'll need to start over. Right? And they go out and they look at 3 or 4, and it works like gold. So you set that expectations. Looking at 10 homes over 10 weeks, it's 45 days to close, right? So who wants to take, that's 6 weeks. Who wants to take another 10 weeks to get a paycheck from a client? 16 weeks, 4 months. I don't want to. You set that expectation early that you're gonna look at these. By doing that, we're gonna talk about finding the right homes for them to look at. You don't go out and just look at homes that maybe they're curious about, or if they don't fit their needs. Well, from what they tell you during the buyer's needs analysis that you should do before you go out and show homes, then you should call them out on that. Being a professional is being assertive and asking the right questions for your clients. I love my clients. I want every one of them to be in the absolute right perfect home for them. I got a call from somebody wanting to list their house because their buyer's agent put them in a house they can't afford and they don't love, and they've been there for 4 months. Right? They got, I call them car lotted into a house. Right? And there's a lot of agents out there with commissions, right? But I guarantee you, through the shift of people who take care of their clients, who look out for their best interests, they always put their needs above their own, will be the ones who will be here after the shift. I promise you, whether they're a lender or an inspector or anything. You know, most of this 92% use the internet, 50% mobile website. I think that's probably low. I bet it's much higher. Okay. Who here has Zillow on their phone? Yeah, and we're not even looking for houses right now. Probably the one that I can identify most on here was that finding the right home is probably the most difficult. I mean, everybody, and I'm going back to the buyer's presentation again. This is where you have to set expectations. Like, I'm meeting with somebody this week, actually next Friday, who wants to spend $90,000. He wants 2,000 square feet with at least 5 acres. Yeah.
Tell him to get a Barbie.
I can get you 2,000 square feet of just land.
Yeah.
But I can't get you. So I'm gonna have to dampen those expectations, or guess what? I say dampen. What I mean by that is redirect and refocus him. Because what is he right now? He's unrealistic. And what else?
Delusional?
Oh, I don't say ignorant, delusional. He's uneducated. He's uninformed. He doesn't know what that looks like. So that's our job as a professional, is to make sure that they understand exactly what they're gonna get for the money and what that looks like for them, okay? There's nothing else on here that's surprising. So we're gonna talk about finding the right home, showing qualified homes, and helping your buyers make a decision. Alright, so that's what we just talked about. Alright, so let's go to page 50. Actually, there's a really good script here that says keep the focus on the best homes. And this is what we just talked about. If you can't find the homes that meet their criteria quickly, you pull them back in and you do a new buyer's needs analysis. And we're gonna talk about asking the right questions at a showing and stuff too. We wanna keep the focus on the best homes. Can somebody read me the script that says keep the focus on the best homes?
Are you on 15?
Actually, I think I'm on 14. I'm on 13.
Hey, Mr. Buyer, if you find the right home, we will need to act quickly. I know you're going to have that feeling of, well, is there something better out there? But I have to tell you, the best homes sell right away because they are the best homes. Do you want to see all the homes, or do you want to find the right one quickly?
How do you think a buyer would respond to that?
I would be motivated if my agent said that.
Yeah. And it's not pushy, it's nothing else. It's, here's the deal. If you find a house and it's a great price and you love it, somebody else thinks that too. Right? So we can act and get this house for you, if it's the right one for you. If not, then we need to roll on and find the right one for you. When you say that's true?
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna ask you two a lot of questions because I know you showed a lot of homes.
My average is only 2 homes.
Huh?
I'm kidding.
You've only shown 2 homes. Well, and one of them you bought from me when I was listing, so that's great. That was a pretty good deal, wasn't it?
That was a good
It
deal.
wasn't the speed bump. The appraisal is about the only speed bump, which I'm still a little ticked off about. 2 identical houses down the street. One sells FHA for $148,500. The other one doesn't appraise for $148,500. Anyway, go fish.
We got a discount.
You got a little bit of a discount. There wasn't a bad appraisal. You just got me to discount the price, didn't you? All right, so page 15, your turn, qualified properties. All right, so that's going to get ahead there. So when you do a buyer's presentation, you should do a buyer's needs analysis. There's a free one on KW Connect. I kind of tweaked it a little bit because there's 1,000,005 questions in there. And there's a lot of questions on there that are unrealistic. Like, we're looking for this price range in this house. I don't really need to know if you, at $90,000, if you prefer an open floor plan or a closed. Right? You can edit it and get it down to really what the search. What it comes down to is what area are they wanting to be in? How many beds do they need? How many baths do they need? And what price range? Right? And from there, they'll start to filter out the stuff that they find that's I know that seems like a broad search to try to get them down to 3 or 4, and you can ask them more questions. You might say, well, this one doesn't fit in your area, or this one, this one's 1 bath. Is that going to work? Or 2-car garage. You said you needed a 2-car garage, right? So. Because the worst thing that you can do for your time is to look at 10 houses over 10 weeks. That is absolutely, it's not productive at all for anybody. And please don't think that I'm trying to get you to railroad somebody into trying to buy before they're ready to make a decision. What it comes down to is focusing in on what's important to them. And sometimes you have to go out and show them 1 or 2 and really ask them questions on the showing to find out what's really important and what they don't like and they do like. And every time you're doing a showing, you're going to ask them questions. So this is a really good one here. So they got here price range, neighborhood, number of beds and baths, special features. Somebody might say, I really want a pool. I got a kid right now who loves his dog. He's got to have a fenced yard. If it doesn't have a fenced yard, he doesn't want to look at it. All right. But there's a really good thing on the buyer's needs analysis when you ask them, what are 5 must-haves in a house? What kind of answers do you think I give when I ask that? Just some features that you think are important to people.
Master bath.
Master bath.
Big closet.
Closets.
Ooh, big closet, yep.
Open concept.
Open concept, yeah. They're above 95, go for it.
Lots of cabinets or big kitchen.
Yeah. Here, where it's located,
School district.
yard size, school district's a good one, right? These are all really good ones. What else?
Garage size.
Garage size, yeah. Like I have a gentleman right now he has 4 cars. He works on cars, apparently never gets to finish them. Right?
Carpet and hardwood would be.
Carpet and hardwood is a good one. All right, let me ask you this question. All right, so you're telling me you want hardwood floors,
I
right?
just bought a house that has carpet and
Yep.
I'm gonna spend $6,000 putting hardwood in.
Yeah.
I probably could have bought.
Well, and that's a really good question to ask your clients. All right, so you tell me you gotta have hardwood floors. If we find you the perfect house and everything is exactly how you want it, and it has carpet in it, are you afraid to spend, would you be opposed to spending a few dollars to get the hardwoods put in? Would that be a deal breaker? It wasn't a deal breaker for you because everything else was perfect,
Everything
right?
else was perfect, so I was like, okay, I wanted carpet at first.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, oh, I wish I would have had hardwood, so.
My wife and I fight about that all the time.
So to see where they'll budge,
Who won? Guess who won? Yeah.
I would prefer.
Yeah, and that's a good thing, especially if you're talking to a client and they come up with something that you're like, wow, that's gonna be hard. You find the perfect house and it doesn't have that, or you're willing to go ahead anyway and maybe, do that in a year or 2 or that kind of thing. I know I'm talking a lot about the buyer's presentation, but it really ties into this, because that's where you're setting expectations for your journey together, because it is a journey. You can be with a client. I showed houses this week. You guys are gonna be like, why is this guy teaching this class? I showed houses this week to somebody that I signed in July of 17. Yeah. They're great friends. I love them to death because we have a relationship for so long. And we use them a lot. When you first get started, you need to go out and preview homes. And so we knew what their price range, and we just took them out and previewed houses to see if we could get them to turn on it. We knew it was gonna be a long process with them. But he said the most amazing thing to me the other day. He said, I'm motivated to do something. I thought, finally. Right. Yeah, I signed them my first open house in August of 2017. So the 5 must-haves. So when you set somebody up on a portal and they get a bunch of houses, it's a little overwhelming at first. And there's some different processes that you can do to kind of help them determine what houses they want to look at. You can, obviously send them houses based on their criteria. Some people want that. I did a deal with my brother, and he's not real. I'm trying to be politically correct here. What do they call little donkeys? Yeah. Anyway. And I called him after a few days and I said, "You find anyone to look at?" And he goes, "That's your job to find me stuff to look at." Okay. And other people will blow up your phone with stuff too. Right? They'll blow up your phone at 10:30 and 6:30 in the morning and with listings. And these people are the ones that you really got to narrow down and make sure that you're showing them houses that are going to fit their criteria. The buyer's needs analysis is a crucial part of this. Of course, you ask more than those 4 or 5 things: the location, how many beds, and stuff. But you want for them to kind of paint a picture to you a little bit so you know what you're looking for. And of course, you need to read their personality type. Right? How many times have somebody said, "This is what I'm looking for. I want a 1-story, 1,800 square feet," and they send you a house that you want to look at that's 3,600 square feet with a basement? Hasn't happened to you? No. No. It's like, no, I do a better job than.
That's why it's good not to FaceTime, because then you're giving them the stare, like, what the?
Yeah. What do all buyers want? Think about this. What does every buyer want? They all want a deal. Isn't that when we go buy something, we want to get as much stuff for as little amount of money, and they're trying to sell us the least amount of stuff for the most amount of money? Right? And they all want a deal. Oh, this one's a good deal. Well, is that what's really important to you? Is it getting a deal, or is it getting you in the right house for your family? right? And
It
these,
seems like the gentlemen are usually more like, I want the best deal, and the ladies are like, but honey, you know, even when you watch all the real estate shows, it's always the guy's like, well, I don't know about that, and the woman's like, but I want this, 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 and this.
I wouldn't say that's always true.
Well, I wouldn't say any
no,
scenario is
no,
always true,
yeah.
I've seen.
but I would say it skews towards that.
Well, it's there's so many different personality types, right? And there's usually if you guys talked about high I's and D's, like dominant personalities and I distant personalities? No? Is anybody in here gone on, what's that test called? The DISC. Is anybody taking the DISC?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what it is you're trying to find out how to work your personality with their personality, right? When somebody, well, I'm getting ahead of myself, but it's always like that. There's usually one dominant in the in the marriage, right? We're all thinking about our spouses and thinking, damn, that's not me, right? But there's usually one dominant, and one person is like, whatever you want, honey. I don't care. It's whatever, right? If you get two D's together, well, they're getting divorced anyway. See, so you get a listing about 6 months later, right? But the different personality types are, and you need to identify that when you're out with showings. And here's a tricky thing: what do you do when you go on a showing and the husband goes this way and the wife goes that way, and you're standing in the middle?
Follow the wife, because she's probably gonna win.
Maybe in that relationship. Yeah, sometimes I'll just let them walk through the house. I want to see the house too, so I can talk about it and not sound like an idiot. Well, so what's the bedroom like? But you want to be able to, my opinion is you want to go with the dominant one, right? And maybe if they go this way, then what's going to happen is they're going to do this, and you come back in, and then you go back. You might just follow that person the other way, right? So the person who's really making the decision, I think, is the one that you need to be with most. My wife and I show a lot of houses together, and so it works perfectly. I'm with the guy, she goes with the wife, and occasionally we switch it up. We do it on purpose. We switch it up occasionally. So I got number 2 here, show homes. I guess I'm in the right one. All right, so as the biggest pet peeve of somebody who has listed houses, if people don't look at the instructions on the MLS.
That actually got me this week. They changed the instructions an hour after I printed them, and they got mad at me for going to see the house.
Yeah,
I-
or
I
the
was
alarm
so
goes off,
frustrated.
right? And believe it or not, by not following those instructions, you may upset the seller a little bit, and you may have started a tone for your negotiations. I always put some sort of showing instructions on there. At least give 1 hour notice, and I get a call. Hey, we're around the corner. Can we go look at it? Or there's I'm trying to think of some. There's one right now. The Masterville group has listed, and the owner refuses to leave the house during listings because she doesn't want anybody messing with her dog. So that's going to be a tough one to sell. Brian, Brian, I'm gonna interrupt you, man. What are some other weird, like, showing instructions that you've seen?
Oh gosh, well, alarms are.
Alarms are a good one?
Yeah, don't let the cat out. He will act like he wants to get out, but he doesn't need to go out.
Yeah.
Don't let him
Don't
out,
touch
you
the
know.
cat. I've gotten that.
Don't touch the cat.
Don't touch
The
it.
cat is off limits to buyers.
You know, some stuff like, you know, garage cannot be shown or backyard can't be shown. Or,
Take your shoes off at the door.
Take your
That's
shoes
a good
off.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if that one's not there and it's been like raining or muddy or whatever, you should still do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good tip, if you're gonna show homes, wear socks without holes.
Been there.
Yeah, you never know.
We're guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what Christmas is? New socks and underwear day.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's, I mean, I can't think of any really weird ones, but.
Nah, but, yeah, go ahead.
I got a pretty weird one.
What's that?
I haven't been doing this that long, so my very first showing, so I sell in Kansas City too, in here.
Yeah.
And a buddy of mine was looking for a house, so we went there. Have you ever seen those ring security systems?
Mhm.
The person, the seller, they said that our seller requires that they be there with you during the sale, or during the showing, and, they couldn't be there, and so they watched through the rain while we were in their house.
All right, and I'm glad you brought that up, because when you're in a house, there are webcams everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had buyers call me, or sellers call me, go, you know what they just said about my house? I'm like, oh, tell me you're not listening in. That's a serious violation. I don't know if you get fined for it or not, but, what I would say is, prep your clients when you walk into a house that there could be web cameras and somebody could be listening. I know that sounds creepy, but I like my stuff, and not to say anything negative about the house. Don't walk in and go, who decorated this? Stevie Wonder? Right? Been there. I was like, oh, there's a webcam right there. Or the other thing too is, all right, they call you, get you in a spot, and they're like, all right, so what do you guys want to offer on this? Let's talk strategy here, how to get it for the best price. Don't do that in the house either. Don't give the other agent your strategy and give up your leverage to get a good deal. Well, I'll pay top dollar, but I want to do this, and there's a webcam there. You're like, oh, guess what? You are paying top dollar now. So definitely be aware of that every time you show a house. It says here, always call the listing agent and see if the home is available and if there's been offers. I will tell you that if it's a good price and it's a good house, last summer, last spring, when it was super hot, you had to do that on every showing. Because you'd be like 6 hours in and be like, oh, we've got 3 offers. All right. Things are slowing down a little bit. If it's a lot of days on market and it's vacant, it says vacant lockbox, go show. It's not that big of a deal to call. I try to every time to call and just say, hey, we're gonna go look at this Thursday. I know it's vacant, but I just want to make sure you don't have anything working on it. And I want to do that for a couple of reasons. One, I don't want to drive out there and waste my client's time if it's in that 4-day period from it's under contract and they haven't changed it to pending. But also, imagine this scenario. You walk your clients through this house, they absolutely love it, they want to make an offer, and you're like, all right, let me call the agent and see if anything's going on. Oh, they got 3 offers and they're accepting one right now. So you just took this house away from them, and so their attitude and their feelings are going to be, oh, man, this sucks, right? You're gonna see their body language just kind of collapse in on themselves because they found the house and now they can't buy it because you didn't do your research. So, I will say almost every time we call before we go out and show a house, unless it's like 212 days on market or something silly like that, and it's like, I know it's gonna be there. What's really weird to me is sometimes you'll see vacant lockbox, text agent before showing. Why do you think an agent would do that? Why would you think an agent would, or call or text agent before showing? Why do you think they would want to do that?
To get feedback, more direct feedback.
They could be just establish a relationship with you. Hey, great, thanks for showing. Let me know if you need anything. Could also be that there might be some circumstances that they want to make you aware of. Hey, thanks for showing. Hey, don't mind the blah, blah, blah. We're fixing that next week. All right? Personally, you're going to get the hit on your lockbox, right, that you're having a showing and you're going to see it. But from the buyer's perspective too, it's just a good way to start respecting that agent's wishes, because you may have to negotiate with them. All right, they'd be like, oh, I didn't even know you showed it. You didn't text me and you're sending me an offer. That's not a great way to start negotiations, right? Because I know that has nothing to do with this, but I have found that negotiating with other agents, if I can establish a good relationship with them and a good rapport with them, the negotiations go better and my clients usually get a better price for it. Yeah, there's a few agents in town that doesn't matter, you can't ever do that with them. But, I'm trying to, because they're gonna sell their clients on that offer. Or they're going to discourage their clients from that offer. And if they like you and they're on your side, you might get something going there and started that really works for you. Set the home tour day with your buyer, specific start time and end time. If you're going to go show 3 or 4 houses, you want to start, you can say, we're going to start here at this time. I try to always schedule the ones that, always show the best house first. And there's a lot of debate over this. The reason I show best house first is I want them comparing. Their minds are fresh when they walk into this house. They're not confused by details of any other houses. But also, when you're going back through and looking at the next houses, you know, you can say, what do you think? House number one or this house? Well, the first house. We always give nicknames to them too. Anybody else do that? I guess we're Chip and Joanna. Foundation house, the crack house. We had the crack house recently, but that was just because there was a crack in the foundation.
I had a tweaker house.
We had
For the blue house.
yeah. The last one I said was, who said it was a 3-bedroom? It was an agent labeled the 3rd bedroom, which was a laundry room and had a closet, but you could fit a bed in there if you needed to. Oh, you showed that one?
Yes.
Oh,
That was the same thing, like, where's the 3rd bedroom?
There's an opening that's 8 feet wide to get in there and go in.
I'm like, where's the 3rd bedroom?
Yeah, it'd be great for a teenager because there's a door leaving out back on the patio. Anyway, yeah, that really kind of bothered me a little bit. But show the best house first, and then you're comparing everything to it. Well, you know, at the end you can show 3 more. You know, it's pretty obvious that nothing's going to compare to that first house. What do you want to do? But you want to get your route kind of planned out too. But when I call to set up showings, if I'm at the first house at 2:30, I'm going to tell the agent I will be there between 2:45 and 3:15, and then it's going to be 3:30 to 4. You know, I try to give a little bit bigger windows, which is ironic because when I have a listing, it bugs me that somebody does that, especially if people are home. But you don't know if somebody's going to go in and go, let's go, honey, that sucks. Or if they're going to be there for 20 minutes, especially if it's your first time showing houses. I mean, I had one guy who wanted to get in the attic of everything, even if he didn't want to buy it. You know, I'm like, all right, I thought you didn't want this. Well, I just want to double check the insulation before we go. Whatever. Buyers are like that. Buyers are crazy. I know because I was a buyer once, but so I always try to set up. I think, all right, so it's 10 minutes away. If they were there 10 or 15 minutes, you know, here's a pet peeve of mine. Beat your clients to that house, right? I think it's extremely unprofessional that if you have a 2:30 appointment with your client, that you pull up at 2:35. Right? You're setting you're communicating to your clients unwillingly that you're not a professional by being late. You know, I have a client right now, she's never on time. So I know that as long as I get there on time, I'm beating her there. I always try to be 5 or 10 minutes early. If you are early and they're not parked out front yet, drive through the neighborhood. See if there's anything else for sale. You should have already done that when you were pulling these houses, but also just kind of get a feel for the neighborhood. Oh yeah, you know, the pool is over here. You know, it kind of makes you look like an expert a little bit, which is what we're trying to portray. When you're in a house, and I'm seeing the home touring etiquette, I'm not going through this, but here's a few things that are pet peeves of mine also. Sitting on their furniture. It's not your couch. Don't just pull up the chair. All right, guys, look at this one. I'm going to turn on Sports Center. You know, that is a huge pet peeve to me. Using the bathroom, if it's vacant, you know, a little kid or something, okay. Or if you're showing 5 or 6, I don't really mind. I'll be honest with you, there's not always toilet paper in a vacant house too, right? Not that anybody's doing number 2, but I know, you know. But I think using the restroom in somebody else's house, especially if it's occupied, is kind of rude. Those are a few things for me. Also, this is a tricky one. If it's opening cabinets, I think it's fine to open kitchen cabinets and pantries and stuff like that. You need to see how the doors feel and those kind of things, because there's a lot of cheap cabinets out there, right? You know, what kind of closing mechanisms have the drawers and things like that. If they're opening like a roll top desk or something, you know, or oh, here's the panty drawer. Oh, here's your socks. That's a no-no. You need to educate your clients not to do that. Yeah.
Just one thing that kind of happened with me in an open house a while ago, the clients, it was occupied, they left several like iPads and tablets out on the table.
Mhm.
Take a look and make sure those don't sneak into,
Should never,
pockets real quick.
Yeah.
That made me nervous, I kept an eye on that the whole time.
oh, you know what I really hate? I used to, when I was a technician for AT&T, I go in a bedroom to install something, and there's a wallet with cash sitting right there. I'd be like, first time, I did every time, I called and somebody in saying, I need you to remove that wallet, because I'm not, if it turns up missing, and I'm in here the last person, that's not good for me. Medicine cabinets and stuff, they don't need to be open in that, but there's a fine line between opening a medicine cabinet and just checking out the cabinet space too. So that's another reason why you're wanting to walk through your house with your clients. And I'm not saying that clients are out there trying to steal stuff. I mean, open houses where there's like medicine out, prescriptions out on the counter make me really nervous and stuff too. Oh, there were 6 of them here an hour ago, but now there's 4. Where's the Percocet? So I think these are expectations. You can get a feel for your clients a little bit too. When presentation should be an hour, you're going to show a few houses, you get kind of a feel for who they are a little bit too. Pull them up on CaseNet or whatever you want to do. It says here, try to give 24-hour notice if possible. It's whatever it says on the MLS. I mean, if you know you're going out, we know my wife's showing a house right now. We knew we were showing that house on Tuesday, so she called and made the appointment then, even though it said hour notice. So as soon as you know, make that. The hour notice should be, oh my gosh, look at this new house. We need to get out there and look at it right now before somebody grabs it. That's when you should do that. Otherwise, you're making plans to go out. Preview the homes, eliminate they don't meet their criteria. So that might be good if they send you a house. You might want to just call them out on it and say, look, you said you needed this, this, and this, and it doesn't have this and that. Are you sure this would be one? They might say, I'm just curious about that one. So you know what, let's leave the curious ones for when we have nothing else that you really want to look at. There's no reason to go out though. Yeah, that bugs me.
I have a question. This has happened a couple times where I've called and I've scheduled, made appointments and everything, and they have scheduled several agents to come in at that exact same time.
Well, I love doing that to buyer's agents. No, I'm not listing very many houses anymore since I'm a buyer's agent now, but I would do that sometimes if I had a slow house and I had 2 people wanting to show about the same time. I'd schedule them both.
So it looks like there's interest.
Yeah, I want somebody waiting up. I want somebody waiting to get in and somebody waiting to get out too. Yeah, it's a good little trick. I know it's not cool as a buyer's agent. I wouldn't like that at all. I would tell them, there's somebody else who's going to be there about that time, but you should be able to beat them or something. I kind of give the agent a little heads up. Oh yeah, 5 o'clock. I can get you in at 5, but there might be somebody still there when you get there. Oh, we don't mind waiting. Okay.
Did not get that heads up. Full surprise to both of us.
Yeah. And so you were just being bamboozled.
And as another KW agent too, so. It actually freaked my buyers out a little bit because they kept seeing his card at the other houses we were looking at too.
Yeah.
And they were getting paranoid that he was gonna go in there and get whatever house they decided to go for.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. So you're doing a showing and somebody asks you something about the house that there's no way you could ever prepare for it. What do you tell them? They want to know, I don't know, exactly where this. Yeah, what's the R value in the attic?
That's a great question. I'll find out the answer and get back to you.
Exactly. Yeah. Or make it up. No, I'm just kidding. 22, 23, whatever.
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes. But yeah, let them know. If you don't know, find out. I always print the MLS sheet and the disclosures when we go. I say Penny prints them every time. I know he'd be smart enough to figure that one out. Do you take anything else besides that?
It really just depends on the client. If I know that there's one particular thing that's really important to them, then I'll prepare for that.
Okay.
So, schools are important, then I might have a school report.
That should be on the MLS too. Which schools?
Which school, but, there's other resources for actually getting school reports and stuff like that. So it depends on the client. If it's people I've been working with for a long time, then maybe no.
What about you, Wim?
I usually email them the seller's disclosure, just so I don't have to print all that out, and sometimes it doesn't have anything, but I'll try to glimpse through it, and then try to find, not an objection, but a reason that they wouldn't find out, so I'd want them to know that
Yep.
as well, so.
What do you guys think are some of the most common questions that I promise it's gonna get better.
No, I have an appointment at 2:30.
Oh, go get that.
Oh, yeah, me too.
He's like, he just called him, and now they both have phone calls. Yeah, we have an appointment with the water cooler. What do you guys think are some good questions that people ask about houses when they roll up to it?
When they what?
What was that?
What's the last part of what you said? When they what?
What do you think are some of the questions that they're gonna ask when they roll up to the house? And you're sitting there and they start asking questions about the house.
Oh, once they're in,
Huh?
once they're in,
Yeah.
the property?
Yeah.
I usually ask myself, like, when was it built? I mean, it's on the spec sheet,
Yeah.
but if you're just starting out a dialogue, like, when was it built?
When was it built? Almost every time.
Mhm.
How old is the roof?
How old is the roof?
Everyone
Right?
wants to know
What
that.
do you tell them? You know, and what do you tell them if they ask you that and it's not in the disclosures? What would be a good thing to tell them?
I'll find out for you right now.
You might, how are you gonna find out if the owner doesn't know? Because if they didn't put in the
If the
disclosures.
owner doesn't know?
Yeah, well, the owners put on the disclosures that they don't know the age of the roof.
During our inspection period, we can have an inspector look at it, and if he doesn't find out anything, we'll have a specialist look at it.
Yep. One thing that you can start doing, I'll get you in a second, is start paying attention to roofs and their age. You'll see a little curling kind of happen when they get a little older. You can kind of look at them, You know, obviously I have, great, so I'm not 32 anymore. Just turned 33 several years ago. But you start kind of figuring out what roofs look like. But they're going to ask that almost every time. How old is the roof? Why do you think they ask that?
That's a huge expense.
Huge expense. Huge. And that's what you're gonna tell them. You know what? I don't have it. It looks pretty good, but you're never the expert. I'm not an expert on roofs, but during our inspection period, we'll have somebody come out and take a look at it. If there's any concerns, we'll take care of it. If you move forward on that. I say that a lot. I'm not the expert on it, but this is the way it looks to me. But we should get a professional's opinion. I'm not a home inspector, right? Because if you say, oh, that roof's good, and then it's leaking 6 months, or there's a problem with it 6 months, guess who's they're gonna find at fault? You, because you told them the roof was good. But if you set the expectations, you're not an expert, it looks good, but we should have a professional look at it, kind of takes it off you a little bit. I've always been I don't wanna get sued. I don't wanna close on a house and get sued by a buyer or something because of, I told them one thing and it wasn't that. So sometimes being a little vanilla can be good. You were gonna say something?
Yeah, this question I get a lot of my open houses, I'm not sure quite how to respond. How long has this house been vacant? They wanna know, I'm just kind of curious on that, because it could be that they think it hasn't been maintained for a long time,
Yeah.
or, hey, good place to squat, you never know.
Well, if you keep doing my listings on Pacific, that's the trick. Actually, that one's closing this week.
I was gonna say, if I had the money, I would've gotten that one for myself.
Yeah, that's a good little house with the money. Squatters on the north side is actually a big deal. When you go show a house on the north side, always knock, even if it's vacant, and you probably hear a door slam and somebody's footsteps running down the alleyway. It's happened several times.
Found a few hobo nests
Yeah.
up in the attics and upstairs.
Yeah.
It's probably a weird way to call it, but it just sounds like a good phrase,
Yeah.
a hobo nest.
There's a house on the north side that I showed recently. It was burned out, investor house, and there's people living in it, for sure. What are some other questions you think somebody might ask about a house?
I asked what they thought, because I had Joey and Ryan, and I know Ryan's been in it a long time, so I'm like, is this good, this your opinion, you've seen a lot of houses, is this a good price for this? He really
Yeah.
made me feel better about it, because I trusted him.
Yeah, and that might be something, is this a good price for the area or stuff? And we're gonna talk a little bit about kind of prepping for an offer. What you got?
And I asked, where exactly are the property lines?
Yep, that's a good one. So,
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
Do you do comps for looking at any homes?
no.
So that question that she said, how does this house price in this neighborhood?
Well, and here's the deal. As a new agent, you guys should be out previewing houses. Find vacant houses and preview at least 8 or 10 a week. Because you need to know what a $150,000 house in Nixa looks like, or in Springfield, or South Side, or a $150,000 house on the north side looks totally different too. Something like that. If somebody says, "Is this a good deal?" I would say, my gut says it is or it isn't. Of course, I have full comps on this. If you guys are serious about this house, I'll do that. I'll do some market research and see exactly if it is a good deal. right? And that's gonna be a crucial part of the shift, is, because houses, I don't know how much you guys have studied about the shift, but this many houses, this many are gonna be in the market. There's gonna be more houses priced outside of the market during the shift than even during the hot time, right? Because I know I've done some houses in the last year on both sides, and I'm like, I cannot believe that appraised. Except for that one that didn't. But I can't believe that appraised. Like, we had one they paid $218, 18 months later, they sold it for $270. I can't believe that appraised.
Yeah, I sold one for 50,000 more in 14 months.
Yeah. Lazy appraisers are awesome. But they're gonna ask you that question, is this a good deal for this house? You know, and what it really comes back to, I would probably say something, do you feel like it'd be a good house for you? Does this feel right to you? Like where you wanna be? Well, no. It doesn't matter if it's a good deal or not, because that's not what's really important. Yes, this is where I think I wanna be. Great, I'm gonna do some market research, so I'm gonna give you an exact, instead of a gut feeling, I can tell you exactly if this is a good house for your money. And then we'll figure out from there what to offer and how to move forward, if we wanna offer and how to move forward. Things that we're gonna find a lot of, people are overpricing, they're now dropping it to chase the market. There's a lot of price drops going on. On the flip side, there's still people, sellers live in the past and buyers live in the future. And what I mean by that, sellers who are gonna be listing in this spring are gonna think the market was like last spring. Buyers are gonna think there's a recession, there's shift, interest rates are going up, I'm gonna be looking for a good deal. Those don't align with each other at all. And as a seller's agent, that person should be keeping their expectations of their clients in check. As a buyer's agent, when you're buying, you need to know, you need to pull because I'm gonna be honest with you, last year, it was so hot and heavy at times, I didn't do market research on every house. I didn't do it. I could kind of feel this is a good one, but then again, I really know that it's a $150,000 house in South Springfield. It's a 3.2 at 1,800 square feet. It really doesn't matter. If you want this house, there are other people who are making an offer on this. Now when I've slowed down, I'm doing a little bit more market research, and I found one recently in Marshfield. Had it for 124. My clients wanted to make an offer. I did the market research, and it comped at 105 to me, maybe 110. So we put an offer for 110 with some concessions or whatever, which a couple weeks on the market, that's not a great offer. But I sent comps with it. I know I pissed the guy off, but I sent comps with it and said, we're making this offer based upon our research of the market, and he called and said, well, they're not going to counter, we're just too far apart. I said, I get that. My clients will pay full price for it. And he said, you will? Really? And I said, yeah, just send me some comps that back up your pricing, and they will buy that house. And he said, well, I didn't pull comps. I said, you listed a house and you didn't pull comps? He goes, yeah, I know the market. I know what that house is worth. I said, okay, cool. So I said to him, I was kind of a little upset. And I said, so what you want me to do is call my clients and tell them to spend $20,000 more because you said it was worth it? He said to me, well, Jim Bowen knows me. I said, well, they don't know Jim Bowen. And he's just like, well, that's what it's worth. And I know that's what it's worth. And I said, all right. I'm going to call him probably next week. I'm like, hey, remember 90 days ago we put that offer on that house? Because if it's coming up like 2 or 3 months later. That's where it's really critical if you guys have a seller that you price that house correctly right now. Otherwise, it's like a day-old donut. You put a donut hot and fresh out in the bakery for $1, people are going to buy it. A week later, and it's $1, they're going to be like, it's a week-old donut. You're going to have to discount it. So I do the disclosures. This is here, make a copy of the 5 must-haves. I don't do that. I really like it. We kind of always keep it here what it is. But I think that'd be really good. All right, so you think, let's see if it has your 5 must-haves. And if you know it does, you might want to go through it with them. If you know it doesn't, then maybe not. It talks about this home tour checklist too. I don't like it. And I'm not saying there'd be anything wrong with using it. why do people make a buying decision? There's a couple different reasons why people make a buying decision. Alexander, come on. Anybody?
What was the question?
Well, they need to move.
Well, why do people make, well, people buy cars because they need to get places, but that's not why they make a buying decision. Why do people make a buying decision?
Emotion.
Emotion's a huge part of it. What part of the emotions, huh?
Life change?
Yeah,
It's an investment.
it's an investment, true. People make buying decisions based on emotion but mainly fear of loss. Think about that. If they think that, if you're at the car lot and you're buying a car and you're like, I think this is the one for me, and they pull it up front. Does everybody have this? So they pull it up front and they park it there, and you go in and you sit at the desk, and that car is sitting right there. Another family walks up and goes, right? You're in there going, oh, that's cool, we can do that payment. We can get that payment because you're afraid they're going to buy it. And that's, right? I think that every car lot has a family that's just on standby. Bob, Mary, we need you and the kids out the car. Lot number 2, quickly.
My dad sold cars for 35 years. I'm gonna have to ask him.
I need to ask her. Did you guys have a car lot family? There was a little boy and a girl. That's the boy, really cute. Yeah, that's when they're not in the JCPenney catalog. They bring the family. But right, that fear of loss and that emotion. To me, that checklist makes it it takes the emotion out of that decision.
It's more about
Right.
logic.
It's more about logic. Selling is about logic. Selling a house is a transaction. Buying a house is a lifestyle change.
Logic makes you think, emotion makes you act.
Yep. Logic makes you think, emotion makes you act. Exactly. So logic was, this is how it fits our needs. You go in there and that emotion of being in that house. I really honestly believe that 90% of buyers decide whether or not they're going to buy that house within 5 feet of the front door. On either side. It could be before they get in and they see the 17 cars in the neighbor's yard and the pit bulls, right? Or it could be when they get inside and they just like, our buyers can't tell you, they cannot describe to you what the perfect house is to them. They can't, because they can feel it and they can picture it, but they can't really describe it. And so when they walk in and it's like what they're kind of picturing, you know, you can almost see they get giddy a little bit. I'm not saying they're like skipping down the hallway to look at the bedrooms, but they get giddy a little bit when they're going through it. And don't take the fact that they're saying negative things about the house that they're not interested. The more negative things they say about the house, probably the more interested that they are. Thanks, Brian. Good seeing you, buddy. So the home tour checklist, you're more than, if that's something that you want to do, go for it. To me, I want to keep that emotion into the decision because when it comes down to the end of the day, I think it's like buying a car. When you sit in a car, it feels good, it's comfortable to you, you can reach the radio, and it just fits right for you. And a house is like that. When you go in a house, it feels like the right house for you. Before I became an agent, I bought a house, and I wanted to look at everything. I was the guy who wanted to make sure I see everything before I made a buying decision. My agent loved me. He did. So there's the home tour checklist on page 18. But you know, and here's the thing about this, you could kind of do this mentally too. When they're walking through the house, all right, this is a good sized living room. Closets are a good size. This bedroom's a little bit small, but the master bedroom's pretty good. Kitchen is a workable kitchen. Please don't think what I'm about to say is sexist in any way. For some reason, that's the thing that women like is a workable kitchen because you know what? You guys do most of the work. Let's be honest, right? My wife has not come home from a day of working and played Xbox for 4 hours, but this guy has, right? So I know like that, does the kitchen work? I say that, and I had a few of the guys do all the cooking too. Some of this other stuff on here. Is it open? Do they want open? Does it bother them? Some people like to go out on their deck and be like, all right, so this is a small fenced-in yard. It doesn't, and there's a house there and a house there. Some people like those bigger yards too. Alright, so let's go to tour the home. I've probably gone through most of this. I'm still on the same page. I'm on page 19. Alright, so ring the doorbell and knock, even on vacant houses. Even on vacant houses. Because one, you don't know if that agent made a mistake and labeled it vacant when it's not. I mean, you probably see from the pictures, right? You don't know if there's a squatter in there. I'm saying that like it's a really common thing, and we've only had a couple houses, but I mean, for your safety, especially if you're showing alone, you should, just make sure nobody's in there. My wife did this before me. She went into a house, she set up a showing, and she opened a door, and somebody was changing. Yeah, go ahead.
That happened to me as a kid. My mother was selling the house and I was staying there by myself, and the agent never informed us that somebody was coming over.
Yeah.
So I had strangers coming in my house while I was sleeping, scaring the crap out of me. So,
Yeah.
it's a good idea.
Hey, you want a better story? The best better story.
I don't, let me judge who's better. The winner gets nothing. Go ahead.
I have a friend who said, hey, I'm gonna be in town, I know your property's vacant, can I stay there for the weekend? Yeah, sure, no problem.
Yep.
So he wakes up Sunday morning, had been out the night before, wakes up Sunday morning, takes a shower, completely naked, down to the refrigerator, and there's an open house.
There's more than that was open that day. I always do. Every time I open the door, vacant or not, appointment, I yell hello 3 or 4 times, loudly. I don't like, hello, real estate agent. It's not like that.
Those buyers were mocking me for that.
On the north side, I usually yell, hello, I have a warrant. Yeah, buyers think that's funny, especially when they're going to move there. It says here, record your comments on a copy of MLS. Let me tell you what I do, and this is something I got from Jen Davis. Okay, first house, second house. If you were to buy a house today, I'm saying you are, but if you were to buy a house, which one do you want? Would you do the first house or the second house? We'd probably do the first house. Okay. Moving on. That's what I do. I just rumble and toss it, and I'm always like, right? What do you guys think I do that, or she does it, because I got it from her. It's a visualization that house is no longer in the running. We're now on this house. I'm doing that with the MLS sheets. Because you should have the MLS sheets with you, because they're going to ask questions. I tried with an iPad, and the first time I threw my iPad, it didn't work. I did try that a few times, taking the iPad, and I didn't like it. The sheets, I think, are a really good visualization. That's no longer even something we're thinking about it. That house is visual trash to them. And this house is still nice and clean. I'm putting that back in the folder. And so that's how we did it. It worked to perfection last Monday, and we got down, which house, number 2 or number 4? Maybe number 2. Threw it away. I said, looks like we're writing an offer. And they're like, yeah, I guess we are. Yep. I love naming the houses. That talks about that. Avoid making comments. You guys are going, how does this guy do that? What you think about a house does not matter. I said that a little loudly with emphasis to kind of make a point there. It does not matter. I walked into a house recently. I think every animal in Southwest Missouri has urinated in it. Every animal. I mean, I had to open the back door and stand next to the back door during the showing because I had a headache. And it was dirty. I mean, there were still like dried up. It's a vacant house too. Dried up mac and cheese on the stove, and I was just sitting there and I'm going, oh my gosh, I can't believe this house is 110. It comped for 90, by the way. I can't believe it. And they got 110. It was in Nixa. And I'm sitting there, man, this is horrible. And I come back in and they're like, we love it. We want to make an offer. I'm like, all right, let's do it. Because my opinion doesn't matter. I'm not the one living there. That's not my dream house. It's their dream house, and they were seeing past it. They were seeing the potential of what they could do. So, if somebody asks you, what do you think of the kitchen? Go, what do you think? well, this, that, and the other. You know what, even if you disagree with them, that's a great point. I can definitely see that from your perspective. Or I can definitely see why. I can see why you might feel, yeah, okay, I get that. You know, your opinion doesn't matter. Because we're curators to, or custodians to their dreams, right? Because that's what you do when you're buying. You're help somebody achieve a goal or a dream. So your opinion does not matter. Now, if they ask you directly, what do you, I will say this, when they ask me about the roof and things like that, I'm gonna give them factual stuff. But the feelings and the workableness of the house is something that's totally different, right? You know, yeah, the foundation looks like it's in really good shape. What do you think of the foundation? It looks like really good. Do you think this living room would be big enough for us? I don't know. What kind of furniture do you have? You know? No, it's tiny. You wouldn't want this. I don't know. You know, what do you guys think? Could you make it work? There's two different sides of that. The structural stuff you definitely are the expert on, but how it's going to work for them or how it's going to feel. I mean, really, we don't like sign clients and go live in their house for a week to get used to what they like and they don't like. So that kind of stuff is really important to leave your opinions out of it. And I will go farther and say this too. There was a little bit of a negative incident with a client with one of my buyer's agents because she had a preconceived notion of what they were going to say to something. So she steered that conversation towards what she thought the outcome was going to be and didn't let them discover the outcome. So it's always good to be kind of vanilla with questions and let them tell you what they think. Because that's really what it comes down to. It's not your house. You know, I'm sure I could show my house to people and they'd be like, I would not live in this place. I think I have a beautiful home. I love my home. So, whenever I show a house when I get done, they come back and it always seems like it's somewhere near the kitchen, the front door. I ask the same thing. What do you guys think? What do you think? That's it, and I'll let them talk. Okay, so what you're telling me is this. If that bedroom was a little bit bigger for you, it'd be the perfect house. Yes. Can you get past that bedroom? You know, this is a pretty good house. Can we get past that bedroom, or do you think that's a deal breaker? I don't ever say, you want to take this one home with you? You know, I mean, we're not there. You want to guide, you want to ask good questions. The buying decision is not yours, right? Even though you really want them to buy the house because you, like, Penny, she gets into this so much, she's like, this is the perfect house for them. This is the one they need to buy. It doesn't matter what you think. It matters what they think. So, and that's a really good, powerful conversation to have at the end there is, you know, what do you think? And ask some good, open-ended questions to get them talking about how they feel about that house and how that house would work for them. You know, do you guys want to make an offer? Yeah, it's a yes or no. Is this something you guys you can see yourself living in? Does this feel like this could be your home? Good questions like that. But what do you think is always, what do you guys think? That's a good open house question too. You know, not that we're ever trying to sell an open house. I think I've sold one in the last year and a half. That's a good open-ended question. Hey, what'd you guys think of the house? This, that, and the other. Oh, yeah, have you seen, I could get into a whole other thing on open houses, but good open-ended questions to figure out, what do you guys think? This says have buyers rank it. You can do that, or you can do the little sheet thing that I kind of talked about. This is here, do you see yourself living here? Why not? One thing I don't ever ask, what you guys like about the house? What do you think? No, this, well, what did you guys like about the house? I never ask, what didn't you like about the house? Ever. Yeah, I take the things they like, even if they're not buying the house, and use that for information going forward. The reason I don't say that is that's a negative conversation, and I don't want to show two more houses and get them in a negative state of mind about a house. Does that make sense? Everybody can be a little bit different on how they might approach it. That's just kind of how I've always done that. We do it all the time.
I was like Brian's line when he's showing a house. He says point blank, "Is this your house?
Well, that's a great question.
Is this your house?"
Well, and that may not be I probably wouldn't do that the first question. And here's the thing, right? You guys should know something. When you guys are going through Ignite, you're getting a lot of different perspectives on how agents, I would like, you know, some good agents do stuff, and me. But on how they do stuff. We can all draw a stick figure, right? We're all gonna start differently and draw it. Some might do a straight arm, or some might do the arms like, it's gonna look like a stick figure when we get done. How you get to that conclusion is how you use your personality and your relationship with your clients to get there, right? So like something like that, what does he say?
Is this your house?
That's a great question. What you guys think? All right, is this your house? No, I don't think it is. Cool, let's roll on. Yeah, I really believe in the fact that when you're helping somebody buy a house, you're helping somebody's dreams come true. There's nothing more fulfilling or rewarding than helping, especially for me, first-time home buyers. She's pregnant and they're buying their first house. They're going to raise their kids. Don't we all remember our first house that we had with our parents and how special it was and the memories that are there? I bet we could all picture the carpet. Mine was kind of this. It was in the '70s, so it was like a copper thing, right? I remember the railing separating the dining room and the living room. I remember that whole house. And so what you've done, you just created those memories for a child by helping them find the house. You get to be, the custodian of those dreams. So that is why forcing or pressuring somebody into a buying decision will never work out good for you. It won't. It won't help you get referrals, because referrals are how we live and die in this business. If you don't get referrals, you're not staying in this business. Whether it's from lenders or agents from outside of Springfield or from your clients or anything. If you don't get them, you don't survive. And you'll never survive by making somebody do something that they don't really want to do, because they're going to trash you. So, but I firmly believe that you can still be asked the right questions to help them discover the right thing for them. You can't tell them this is the right house for you, but you're going to ask the right questions to get there. Here's home touring etiquette. On this page, let me see, we're still here. Only 84 more slides. How am I doing on time? Leave that home as you found it, right? I have one guy, if you show up and every light's on, he'll go through and he'll shut off the lights behind him. I'm like, hey, we need to leave those on, because you don't know if they have a showing after you, right? So you want to leave it how you found it. If there's one light on, then that's the light on that you have, right? If there's Skittles on the counter, only take a handful. Yeah.
Make sure there's Skittles.
Yeah, make sure there's Skittles, not colored Percocet. That'd be bad. I've gone and they've had 3 or 4 houses, 3 or 4 waters out with a candy bowl, something like that's fine. But really, leave the house. If you unlock the back door, make sure it's locked. Before you leave, you should make sure doors are locked exactly how you found them. If that front door is unlocked when you get there, it means the owner doesn't have a key. Leave it unlocked. The lights are on, leave the lights on. Be mindful of pets. That's one thing that we talked about in the showings. They might have a cat. I've opened the door and dogs ran in. I went, hope they live here. Oh, there's a food ball. Okay, so they're good. But it really, and I've blocked them too to try to keep them from running inside. Pets are a big one. We all love our pets. Everybody have pets? Yeah, we love our pets. And how would you feel if an agent came into your house, your cat or dog got out, you couldn't find it, and then they wanted to buy your house? Nope. Leave a card on the counter. When did you notice last year that not a lot of people were leaving cards on counters when they did showings?
I know it was seemed to be not contingency, but an issue on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Some agents were against it.
Yeah. I think it's just common etiquette, especially if the house is not vacant, right? There's absolutely nothing wrong with taking your card and go, thanks for letting us look, and leaving it on the counter, right? Again, if you're making that offer, you just made a positive impression on the person that you're going to be negotiating with. I would say, always leave a card. And if you have a house like I had in Ravenwood that was 18 months on the market, you can start playing cards with them then.
Vacant ones I tend to forget, but it's the ones that are occupied that I always try to leave a card.
Yeah, the occupied. And I'm not perfect on that. I forget sometimes too, but I always try to. Secure and lock the house when you leave if they're locked. It says here, notify the listing agent. Yesterday I had a showing and it's a vacant house, we just moved out, and the, smart thermos turned off the heat in the house. So she was awesome. She texted me right away and said, the sheet is off. And I said, the sheet is off? I meant to say the heat, talk to text. So, if you see something, I mean, let them know. You know, that's just common courtesy, you know, being a good person, I think.
Don't touch the thermostat.
Don't touch the thermostat, yeah. Hey, I wonder what it'd feel like if it was 90 in here. No, that's what a home inspection is for. What if the heat works? Nah, yeah, that's a good etiquette one too. Let's see, we got some role play here on 21.
What I usually tell my clients is, when I'm not there to sell the house to them,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I'm gonna kind of look around and see what's kind of negative or what's not, you know, right about the house, or I'll, you know, if it's accessible, I'll kind of look at it, because I've found flooded crawl spaces before, or
Yeah.
you never know.
Yeah, and I've been in crawl spaces on showings.
Yeah,
Not my favorite thing, but I will if somebody's really worried about something. But what is going to be a detriment to their pocketbook in the future? Right? Who wants to buy a house and a year later have to put $4,000 or $5,000 into it? You know, AC units are a big one. I'm gonna tell you, if you list a house, tell your seller to go out and turtle wax that AC unit, right, and clean it up. But that's always a big one. You know, hey, the unit looks pretty good. You'll start to learn. Hey, it looks like it's a 3-ton, and that's plenty of AC unit for this house. You know, they're going to ask about the furnace and the water heater and things like that too. Once you start doing a lot of deals, you'll start seeing on the inspection reports a lot of the same things come up. Nail heads exposed on roofs has been on every inspection report ever. Seems like fungi is too now. Yeah, what's going to be you know, and we have fiduciary responsibility too. If there's a big crack in the foundation, you don't just go over there and stand there like this, right? You need to tell them about that. But you'll find out there's a lot of stuff that seems like big deals, especially through the inspection report, that aren't that big of deals. They're not a big deal. Fungi's not a big deal. That's always one thing that I try to prep my buyers for is, you're gonna have fungi or termites. If you get both, you get the double dip, but it's not a big deal. It happens all the time, right? So this is actually pretty good on page 22. I'm gonna skip ahead some of the role play. I would definitely recommend, you know, if you have a friend, go out and show them some houses and have them pretend to be the buyer, you know, or buddy up with somebody else that's new. Recognizing buy-in signals, okay? Body language and facial expressions, smiling, brightening up. Like I said, you can almost see that they get a little giddy when they walk into a house. You feel their body language change a little bit. Because everybody walks into that house thinking that's the one, and then they realize, like I said, usually pretty quick. I have told my clients too, hey, it sounds like you're trying to talk yourself into this house. Do you want to talk yourself into spending $150,000 or whatever? No, not really. It's not the right house for you. It's okay to tell them it's not. You don't believe it's the right house for them. They're going to ask about the seller's motivation. Hey, why are they selling? Because they moved.
Kind of big.
Yeah.